Day two started at 3:30 with more bands on day two. First band was called Chamber Mage.
Chamber Mage.
Not Chambermaid.
Somebody might say Chambermaid. No, Chamber Mage.
Not Chamber Pot. Chamber Mage. They're a heavy metal band from all the way from Colorado Springs, which surprised me because I looked them up and I saw they only had a demo, so I figured they were going to be local, but they were shipped in from Colorado. It seems like they got some hype because I noticed they also played the Frozen in Time festival earlier this year, so I don't know what's going on here. I noticed their bassist is also the current bassist for Thor.
Thor as in the 70s guy, Thor?
Yes.
Wow.
He's not the original bass player. He's a young guy playing in Thor.
But Thor is still around? Thor is alive?
I didn't even know that, but I was just like looking like, are these guys in other bands? Like, what's going on? Like, why are they traveling across the country on the strength of a demo?
Yeah.
But yeah, they're getting some hype, and you could definitely tell when they play that they are very used to playing live. They do not seem new at this, so I'm gonna guess maybe they cultivated their own buzz by playing around.
Yeah, obviously getting experience.
Yeah. But yeah, they're kind of a big epic song, good time heavy metal band, kind of feel good, up tempo, major key kind of stuff a lot of the time, guitar stuff. They're nerds though. They've got the word mage in their band name. That's enough.
Like wizards and everything, all that stuff.
What's a chamber mage?
I guess it's like your magician. Like on Skyrim,
like the king's magician.
Yeah, like remember on Skyrim, every jarl would have a mage.
Mm-hmm. Okay, next band was CONCILIUM. Independent band, epic doom metal from Boston. And this was, I think, our only local band.
Yeah, also our only doom band.
Interesting. I think there were more local bands last year. Also only doom bands. And they have an EP that came out in 2019. I was a little familiar with this band, so I was already expecting a big kind of Candlemass experience, which is what we got. I'm not disappointed.
I mean, we're all doing basically this festival is all about sort of like old school metal, and that does not exclude doom. This also, if we're going to do doom, we're going to do old school, like 1980s kind of doom. And that's what this is.
I mean, the guitar player, his strap, it just said doom and pointed down at his guitar.
Or to his heart, maybe.
It's like,
I
thought I was pointing at his guitar.
Doom is in the heart.
Doom is in the heart.
Doom is in the guitar. Doom is in the fingers. I don't know. Doom is in the strings.
But, the only thing, when you say Candlemass, you're going to sort of expect something from the vocal, and it's definitely there. The singer is a very powerful, really good kind of pint-sized Messiah Marklin.
It's a real singer. She was dressed like Messiah Marklin. She had little chains and everything.
Yeah, and it was working.
For the hair.
Yeah.
Everything. And that's a real singer. Like, that's someone that practices singing. That's someone
got a really big, deep voice.
Yes. Yeah.
And just big 80s epic doom, which is my favorite kind of doom and the only kind of doom I listen to anymore. So
yeah, new doom is kind of whatever. I don't want to talk about it. But and it's all slow also all slow songs, right? Like all these other songs are like, all these other bands are like, mostly super fast. These guys, slow, like, wow, this is kind of big. This is now for something different,
Verdict on these guys, I guess I'm gonna call them freaks. I don't know, but they're kind of like occultists, like.
Yeah, the band, the band looked like a bunch of very different people.
That was also true.
Very different people, from very different walks of life. I don't know. a motley crew of band members.
And I bought a koozie. We're starting a koozie collection. If you come to the house, we'll give you a seltzer in the CONCILIUM koozie.
We don't drink at this house.
We don't have any beer. I'm sorry.
There's no beer at this house for you to party.
You can bring your own beer.
Lime
That's
seltzer.
Fine. Only lime.
I like lime. It's my favorite.
Okay, next band is Night Cobra.
That's a strong name. It's a very.
I googled it to Google the band, and I found out a Night Cobra is a revolver.
Okay, that's very Texas.
But his mic had a cobra on it, so
yeah, it was like a sort of a thing like something like a King
maybe
Diamond
it's
would
both,
have,
but
like a microphone holder, like the thing kind of like King Diamond has.
They are heavy metal from Houston. They've had one album out on High Roller.
Yeah. Naming the band after a gun seems a very Texas thing to do.
Yeah.
Right?
But it doesn't seem like they're, making it about the gun.
No, it's just like Night Cobra. And that's cool. It's like very.
So I was not familiar with these guys, or I was a little bit familiar with these guys. So, but they have a definite stage presence.
Yeah.
I will say that's great costumes, dedication to the costumes in the extreme heat. We're gonna mention now. We haven't mentioned it yet. The venue was hot as fuck.
And it got hotter it got hotter on day 2.
Last year, I remember it was in June. The festival was in June.
Yeah, it wasn't super hot.
And, in June, it's summer in New Jersey, but up in Massachusetts, it was still like 70. So, like, it was fine inside of Ralph's.
Yeah, I don't remember that being a problem last time.
Now in July, it's 90 in Jersey, it's 80 in Massachusetts, and it's 120 inside of Ralph's.
It's like
so...
But there was a lot of costumes. A lot of people had costumes.
Yes. I will give credit to Ralph's. They have fans. A lot of venues, a lot of these small club venues, don't have fans.
Yeah, so it was like
St. Vitus, perhaps, could use a fan.
The air
ceiling fan
was at least moving in the place.
Yes.
It was hot, but the air was moving.
They had multiple big fans.
Yes.
So you could be standing in the shitty place, but you could be standing under the fan.
If the air wasn't moving, we'd all be dead.
We would all have died.
Yeah.
But anyway, getting back to Night Cobra, so the singer was wearing this big coat. You called it a King Diamond coat.
It kind of came out dressed like King Diamond in a way. Like he came out with King Diamond energy.
This colored Maledictus' view of the band so much that he was like, they sound like King Diamond.
Like I was hearing Merciful Fate in their music.
I know they don't. I don't think they sound like Merciful Fate.
Live wise, yeah. Hearing like their studio stuff, like I'm not getting it.
Yeah,
but they kind of came out like with this.
One of their guitarists was wearing a thick leather vest the whole set. So
and the other guy was wearing a leather jacket.
Oh yeah, I meant that guy.
Well, that guy was also wearing a leather vest, but the other guy was just wearing the straight up like Ramones kind of leather jacket. And there is a certain breed of people, and they're not common, that wear full leather in like 120 degrees and they don't sweat.
Yeah, this wasn't like a cheap thin one. This was like one of those nice thick,
like a thick leather
that you
jacket.
would actually wear biking. Anyway.
Yeah.
But they were very dramatic, theatrical. They put on a show.
Yeah, they were good.
They had synchronized movements, very flashy bands.
A lot of energy, just constant energy. Just they didn't like slow down for a second. The costumes kind of helped, definitely.
And obviously, these guys are freaks.
Yeah,
these guys are freaks.
Thing. Yeah, watch their video. You'll definitely.
Yes, we checked out their video of Escape from Earth. What's it called?
Yeah. It's kind of like Escape from New York. It's like the guys dressed like Kurt Russell, Snake Plissken, and but Escape from Earth instead because Earth is so fucked up. We're gonna blast off and get out.
I've never seen Escape from New York.
It's a John Carpenter film.
I have seen Escape from L.A.
Yeah, I've never seen that,
and I loved it as a kid.
We should watch Escape from New York one day.
And we should watch Escape from L.A. so you can see it.
All right, yeah, I've never seen it.
And I want to see if I still like it.
Okay. I don't know if that movie will hold up. But, you never know.
I don't think people liked Escape from L.A.
Yeah, I think that was probably not. That's probably never really caught it.
All right.
But okay, Adamantis.
So this is the only returning band from last year. They are power metal from Boston, but we're going to say it's okay for them to return because Evgeny, the drummer, is the organizer for the entire fest.
Yeah, he only made this whole thing happen, so he kind of gets to play.
So I'm going to say he gets to play every time.
He also brought those 2 swords. He made those swords. I don't know if he made them or he brought them, but he had 2 swords this time for the second show, right?
Yes, he made a second sword. There was only 1 sword last year. Now we had 2.
And hopefully there's 3 next year.
So their debut came out in 2020. They had an EP last year on Cruz del Sur, so they have a couple releases.
It's either Cruz del Sur or No Remorse. That's it.
And I am familiar with them because we saw them last year play. I wasn't familiar with them last year very much.
Yeah, but now obviously.
But I knew what to expect now. I remember when we were talking about it, I was like, yeah, remember them? They have that Storm the Walls song.
Yeah, it's a chant. It's got like a chant. Oh, right?
And I said that to Maledictus, and he was like, Storm the Walls.
I thought you said Stone the Walls. That's the same thing, though.
Stone the Walls.
Like you could storm, or you could just launch stones at the wall.
Storm the Walls, you get the image of people, running at the wall and climbing up it. Stoning, you're just throwing rocks at the wall. Yeah,
but when you're sieging the thing, like you have catapults and you're throwing stones.
Okay, you're thinking catapults.
I've played like video games where you do this, where you throw stones at the and hopefully you break down the wall.
Right. Well, it's Storm the Walls.
All right.
And they played the song.
They did.
With the chanting.
It's a chant.
It seemed like they were,
it's an anthem.
Trying to do kind of a special set. They played some rare songs. They said they were rare songs. I'm frankly not familiar enough with their live sets since I don't live in Boston to know what's a rare song for them to play. But obviously, this is very much like a home game for them because, they probably know like everyone local knows them and had probably seen them many times. So, everyone was super into it. But yes, very technical, precise power metal. It's, we haven't had too much power metal, but they're enough power metal.
Yeah, straight
they're
up.
Really
Straight up with the,
they're like a double dose of power metal.
The classic power metal energy. Yeah.
We'll play our video, but I remember I started filming at the very beginning of their set, and they just have they had the most dramatic set beginning
they had an intro
of any band,
like the delayed singer intro.
They didn't. They're not even that. They had the delayed drummer entrance.
That's true, because he was.
They started out just the guitar player and bassist on stage.
Right.
The
drummer, he's kind of has to be a celebrity.
The whole thing took 5 minutes before the song started.
That's true. So they knew what they were going to do. They were willing to waste 5 minutes playing nothing because they were so confident in their set. So that's good.
And they also covered Flight of Icarus.
Yeah, and the singer just comes out like Bruce Dickinson. I mean, he looks like Bruce Dickinson. He sounds like Bruce Dickinson. You expect him to do an Iron Maiden song.
Yes.
A very epic Iron Maiden song, not some Paul Di'Anno
And that was
song.
probably, I think, the most perfect Iron Maiden song for them to play.
Perfect. They did it so well.
Just matched their style. And also just for the festival,
Yeah.
Fly on your wings like an eagle.
People want to hear that classic, Iron Maiden. There's always a place for Iron Maiden in this thing. Someone's always got to pay homage to Iron Maiden, obviously, when you're doing anything like this. And they were the ones to do it, so it's their job.
Yes. Verdict on them, nerds.
Yeah, they're kind of nerds.
Definitely nerds. I think they're based on some fantasy novels.
I think the drummer is a freak, though. I think he's a career metal guy.
No, I think he's also he looks kind of like a freak, but he's also like a nerd.
I guess so. Right.
I think someone even started chanting nerds during the set.
Someone did. We weren't the only ones thinking that. Okay, you think this is something
but this was
in our head.
We're not saying nerds derogatively.
No.
People there were nerds positively. So
yes, you're going to find people into the D&D kind of thing, into the Skyrim thing, into the video game thing when you're getting this kind of metal.
Next set was Sanhedrin.
Sanhedrin. What does that mean? That sounds Irish or something.
I don't know.
Sanhedrin.
They're heavy metal from Brooklyn.
Yeah.
They've had 3 albums. They're on Metal Blade. I didn't realize they were on Metal Blade.
That's serious business.
Serious business. And even though from Brooklyn, I've never seen them before because, again, we're lazy. We don't like going to shows in Brooklyn unless it's something
very special. It's like Merciful Fate or something.
Yeah. I'll go to Manhattan more often, but I don't want to cross 2 rivers. All right.
It's a pain.
So this is our first time seeing Sanhedrin. Drove all the way to Worcester to do it. But I am pretty familiar with them. I remember listening to their 2019 album a good bit, not so much as their last one. And this was the first set where we got there a little bit late, so it was pretty full, and we ended up standing a bit further back.
We couldn't weasel our way into the front.
And we're like, wow, they sound great.
Yeah. So it kind of dawned on me. I was like, oh, wait a minute. I think we're wrong about the bad vocals. I think they're just where we're standing.
I was like, this is the way it's supposed to sound back here.
Really good. She sounded really good.
Yeah, they sounded really good. They're a trio, very tight trio.
Very, yeah.
Just all locked in, synced in. They seemed a little older, so seems like they've been doing this their whole lives.
I consider them a pretty experienced band. They've been doing this for a long time. They didn't just start doing this.
Yes, but they're definitely playing that very classic heavy metal sound. Yeah. I would almost call it kind of a boomer style.
Yeah, it was good. Everyone loved it.
But yeah, it was good. Very high energy. Very on them. They seem kind of too nice to be freaks. I mean, they're freaks in that they're lifers. They're definite lifers.
Yeah.
But they looked kind of more wholesome than the other freaks.
Yeah, more of regular dudes.
Okay. Speaking of freaks,
these guys are the real thing.
Next band was Solicitor, which is heavy speed metal from Seattle, real speed metal. They had a debut in 2020, which I listened to quite a bit. Was excited to see them. Never seen them live before though, and it was a lot. And for myself, I remember very specifically standing there in the hot as fuck room. And they're just playing the most blistering music. And I literally thought, just like our reviews, I was like, too many notes. This is too many notes for me to handle right now. I've heard a lot of notes already today and yesterday. I'm starting to glaze over.
There's a lot of notes. If you had a note count in this whole festival, it'd be a lot of notes.
I kind of wish they played the day before when I could have absorbed them better, because I was getting overstimulated at that point.
Yeah, I was like right in front of the guitar player when they started playing. The guy was like super. I mean, you'll see in the video right here. We were super intense.
We were standing at different angles, and he just showed me his video, in which I couldn't really see the guitar player play because his like back was to me. What the fuck? I've never seen anyone play like that.
Yeah, like he was like the most, like she thought the video was speeded up, but like, no, that's what he was doing.
Like, are you manipulating this video?
He was so intense. Like I couldn't believe it. I was like, Jesus, this guy is like vicious. He's furious.
But yes.
Right. They have a furious look to them.
Yeah, they definitely got a look. They're definitely like the sound and fury of Solicitor.
Yeah, and you could hear it like in their sound.
But yes, they are definitely freaks. Amy, the singer, I think her look is like already kind of iconic. Yes. I've never seen them, but I knew what her outfit looked like already. She's dressed like something out of Road Warrior.
She's like a barbaric divine.
Yes, like her hair and makeup is like Divine, and her outfit is Mad Max.
Yes, if Divine was like after Mad Max, like is if like Divine was crossed with like the guy on Road Warrior, what was his name? The guy that was after Mad Max, the guy with the mohawk, right?
Thinking of cutting my hair like that.
Yeah, it'd be cool. It's a warrior look. I like it.
You know, I've got enough hair that like weighing it down, like I look like a normal person, and I could wear it up and look like a real freak.
You don't gotta like go to work. It's like, you know, you're working from home, so you don't have to like really.
Yeah, but if I did, I could just wear it down.
That's true.
And you wouldn't.
Yeah, but of course, I'm sure she has to do that too, right? Like she has.
Yeah, I'm sure if she takes her hair down, she probably looks pretty normal.
Yeah, she probably has to go to a job. Right?
I mean, well, she doesn't have eyebrows, but
yeah, I mean,
you can draw those on.
Yeah, you just draw them on. You're doing whatever you want. You take your eyes out, you just draw new ones on every time. You're like it's modular, right? That works.
Okay, Solicitor, cool. But as scary as Amy looks, she was very much like, you guys should have some water. You know, you guys, I want you guys to promise to drink some water after this set.
You think she'd be like, kill each other? But no, she's just like, drink water. Be safe, drink water. It was really hot. I'm surprised no one had any problems. Nobody passed out or anything.
I'm actually surprised too.
Yeah, they wouldn't have an ambulance visit.
I'm surprised I didn't pass out.
Yeah, I was just staying still, just going into lizard mode, as they say.
Yes, I was thinking about lizard. That's what I was saying in my brain, especially as the night wore on. I was like, lizard mode.
How do you survive hot concerts? Very
lizard mode, which is hard.
Oh.
I think it's easier for you. It's harder. I'm like, all right, we got to just maintain lizard mode a little while longer. What happens in
lizard mode? You're able to like not drink water, not go to the bathroom, just become in stasis while you're watching a concert and ignore all the pain. Lizard mode. Thank you.
All right. Next band was Savage Master. And they're more established as well. They're heavy metal from Louisville.
Louisville, of all places.
They've had 4 albums. They're on Shadow Kingdom. Okay. And I listened to their last album that came out last year quite a bit. Not too familiar with their back catalog. And I have never seen them, but I was obviously excited to see them. And probably, negligence on my part. I had no idea they had such costumes. Like, I knew the singer had a look, but I didn't know, like, she had a bunch of gimps with her.
Yeah, they had, like, they were kind of like, they had hoods on, kind of like, something was like a kind of a midnight thing. But they had, like, purple hoods, like, I think they were just bed sheets. But
it was not a midnight thing because there was more than one piece to the costume.
Yeah, well, yeah, they had capes, too.
Yeah, they had these capes.
Yeah, I think those were just bed sheets, but it worked. They looked like some sort of, like, inquisitors.
Now that was fucking dedication because you could see, like, the moment when they got up there in the beginning, you could see on their hoods, they already had like 2 like sweat stains on their temples, and you could just watch throughout the set as like the sweat spread through the entire cape
on the bed sheets on
the entire mask.
But yeah, like they must have been suffering.
Well, I remember, and they took off all their shit to break down, and they were like drenched in sweat. Yeah. I liked their album a bit, but I liked the set even more. I think they sounded way better live, and I did have some water after the Solicitor set, and I did feel better after. But this was definitely a slowdown from Solicitor. It's definitely like some grooving heavy metal.
Yeah.
Not slow, but slower.
A little less chaotic than Solicitor. Solicitor just looks like chaos, right? Like just made to make
it. And they are chaos.
Yeah, these guys are more, they have a kind of a satanic feel to them as well, like a little kind of an occult feel as well.
It's definitely an occult feel.
Yeah, so that tends to slow things down. You kind of have to slow down when you do that stuff.
But
it's more rock and roll.
I had a great time during the set. I was grooving. I was dancing.
Yeah,
this was the only set I danced for.
More of a rock kind of sound with these guys, rather than speed metal, more of like a rock sound. It's good.
And these guys were freaks. Scary, scary freaks.
Yeah, they're the real thing. All of them, when they take their costumes off, you're like, oh yeah, these guys are career-minded.
Yeah, they took their costumes off immediately. But I think they had the best interaction with the sword, where, the lady took the sword and was, like, threatening her gimps with it.
She had her own sword.
That was her sword?
Yeah, it was a smaller sword.
She also had a candelabra.
Yeah.
She had a cup, a chalice.
She had props.
This is definitely a prop band. They're putting on a show, and it's a very good show.
Props to you, Savage Master.
I hope to see Savage Master again.
Yeah, they're good.
Okay. Next band. Traveler.
They traveled far.
They're a heavy metal band.
Get here.
The Metal Archives calls them international, but I'm pretty sure every member except the singer is from Calgary. And the singer is from somewhere in the U.S.
That counts as international.
So. I feel like they're Canadians.
They had an intro.
They also had an intro.
It was cool, though.
It was a different sort of.
It wasn't cool.
It wasn't like a, they weren't playing. It was a track intro, but
it was a little more sensitive. They did the intro of Warriors when Cyrus is making.
We'll show your video.
The speech, right, when he's like, "Can you dig it?" But they played like that Robert Townsend song behind it.
Maledictus loves anything referencing the Warriors.
Yeah, I love that kind of stuff. But yeah, it worked really well. Like the song they put behind it, it just worked. It sounded really cool. I thought it was cool.
But they've had 2 albums, Via Gates of Hell, and this was the band I was most excited to see. I've never seen them. I'm very familiar with their albums. I particularly loved their 2019 self-titled album, I believe. So yeah, this was like, when I saw the lineup, this was like Traveler. I was like, oh, I'm going to this, hell yeah. And definitely not disappointed at all. Of course, they had that big intro, and they just have such good songs.
Did I say Robert Townsend? I meant Pete Townsend. I said Robert Townsend. That's an actor.
I'm not listening to the words you say. And it was just a lot of guitars, a lot of rocking good times. And they were the only band to do a drum solo.
That's right. They had a real drum solo. It takes balls to have a drum solo.
And they also had the only, I would say, real, masturbatory guitar solo.
Yeah, like the lone guitar solo.
Yeah, where, the whole band stops and it's just the guitar going, and, being ridiculous.
Yes, that's how you're supposed to do it.
So
that's what Manowar would do.
Frontman was also pretty amusing, if you can't tell from the intro video.
It is sense of humor. He actually had, a lot of these guys are really serious out there. Very sense of humor, very loose.
I liked as they were getting set up, he was just
kind of jerking around, just up there. It's like, oh my God, there's the singer, the guy doing nothing.
He was just up there, singing along to the PA.
Yeah. He just was hanging out up there.
He was just typical singer.
Everyone else is just working. He's just like, it's like, that's a singer. That's what you're supposed to do. Tell everyone else to fuck off.
But verdict on these guys, I feel like these guys are kind of both freaks and nerds.
Yeah.
They're nerds. They even have one of their, on their album, they have a song called Konamize, which is video game music. But this is the only shirt I bought from the festival.
Traveler. Traveled far.
I don't know what this is on it, but it's pretty cool. Oh. The final band. And just as a little context, in between most sets, we would go down, and Ralph's, the stage is upstairs and the bar is downstairs, and it is air conditioned in the bar. So we were going down. By the way, it's not air conditioned in this room.
Yeah. It was a lot cooler when you go downstairs. It was 100 degrees cooler.
Knowing that we were in for a long haul, especially on day 2, we were going downstairs in between basically every set and just kind of sitting in the cool, having a drink. But for Traveler and Visigoth, I knew I wanted to be up front. So after Savage Master played, we just parked at the stage and we stayed there. So I knew we were in for some endurance here.
This is the part we're going to have to.
This is the hard part.
And in the grand scheme of things, we kind of had an easy time because some concerts people have to do it for hours. Like when they're sitting at some arena show, they'll do that for hours.
But it's usually not. Well, I guess it depends on the weather.
So that was kind of an easy.
But we're not young people.
Yeah, we're not young, exactly.
So
it's not that enjoyable.
So So by the time Visigoth got to the stage, we're deep into lizard mode.
Yeah, we're survive one more band.
Now, Visigoth, if you don't know, is a heavy power metal band from Salt Lake City. They've had 2 albums and an EP. I thought they had more. I don't know. They're on Metal Blade, another Metal Blade band. And I was super excited to see Visigoth. And as I mentioned before, like a lot of bands, I might not like the production choices on their albums, but I like them live. And interestingly, like, I don't like Visigoth's songs are great. I don't love that super clean production style they have on their albums, but YouTube for like years now has been recommending me live Visigoth videos, and I watch a lot of concert videos in my free time. So I knew what they sounded like live, and honestly, almost all of my familiarity with the band is from watching those live videos. So like I know a lot of their songs just from that, and I knew they would sound really good live and be really powerful live, and I'd never seen them before, so I was quite excited for this set. And yeah, not disappointing at all. It's very powerful to hear those songs, and of course everyone around us knows them all by heart, and it's going fucking insane the entire set.
Yeah, compared to like the headlining band from the last night, this was far more high energy, obviously. Way more intensity going into this headliner.
But, the heat was definitely getting to everyone at this point. Jake, the singer, he complained about it multiple times. But yeah, it was just really great. I thought, one thing, like, I'm not usually someone who just like stares at the singer. Like, I like looking at everybody, but like he's such an engaging frontman, and it's like hard to keep track of everything happening on stage. He demands all the attention. He demands all the attention, but he has these 2 like monster guitar players on stage with him, and they're doing this crazy shit, and like I almost like don't notice it happening. I mean, I hear it, but it's like, but yeah, entire place was singing along. They played some rare songs that they don't usually play live, which means I didn't recognize them really because I only watched their live videos. And as a final note, at this point, I had, of course, I had been wearing my battle vest all weekend up until the very end.
I took it off by halfway through the second night.
I lasted for a while. So we went back to the hotel one point. Maledictus left his vest. I kept mine on, but
too hot for this shit.
By the time I got to travel, I was like, all right, I need to survive for like the next, 90 minutes I'm going to be up here in this hot room. So I'm going to put my hair back, which I don't usually do. And I'm going to wear I'm going to take my vest off. And there was kind of like, the monitors aren't quite on the stage. They're like on this little recessed thing, a little bit underneath the stage, like slightly like an inch below the stage.
Yeah,
and I put my vest in between 2 monitors and behind a mic stand. I swear to God, I don't like when people put shit on stage. I swear to God, it was not in the way. Like people were putting drinks in that area all weekend.
Yeah.
And it was fine the entire set until Jake, in the last moment of the last song, decided to jump into the crowd, and he stepped right on my vest.
When he was about to jump, he kind of grabbed my shoulder because he wanted to like kind of vault off of me. I didn't know what he was doing. I was like, "What are you doing, dude?" Because he was kind of like
trying to make friends.
Yeah, and he just kind of vaulted over me, and he just kind of rushed in right behind me, and was just singing. Well, he wasn't like crowd surfing. He was just like singing.
Yeah, he was like kind of moshing.
There was not a lot of moshing, actually. To be honest, there was not a lot of moshing in the
people were not into it.
Show. Like it happened once or twice, and it was like very light.
Yeah,
so,
I mean, there was some pushing up to the front, but like
it was not your usual show.
Yeah, but yeah. I thought it was very funny that Jake from Visigoth would step on my vest because he's known battle vest connoisseur. He makes a lot of vests. He was featured. Ooh, I should have looked up the book. There was a book that came out a couple years ago. I'm gonna look it up real fast.
He's a vestist. I'm gonna made up that word. But I think he was just he wasn't probably looking where he was stepping, so just had to jump into the
Defenders of the Faith. Yeah. That was let's get the description. It's a book about vests. And good coffee table Jake's book. Vests are featured in the book, and I remember they played St. Vitus. We didn't go to the show back in 2019 when there was like a release for this book. So to have Jake from Visigoth step on my vest is surely meaningful. Is it a blessing or a curse? All right, so that was the fest. We survived. I was getting a little worried towards the end of Visigoth's set. I'm like, am I going to need to leave and get some water? Because I was very thirsty.
Yeah, I was just like, at that point I was just like sticky. Like I just felt my hair sticking to things. It was like so sticky.
Yeah, I don't like the true warriors were the people that kept their vests on the entire show.
And of course, I had like the guy who just was the most intense guy right behind me, like who just wanted to just break through, you know. So, like, I always have that guy behind me. He's always crashing every show.
They love you.
They're like, there he is. Go behind him. So yeah. Speaking of that, we were recognized from this show.
Oh my God, yeah.
Not once, twice.
Yeah, we had some nice people.
Yeah, and they were very, obviously.
So they watched the show. So that was cool.
And one of the guys, I'm sorry, I forgot his name, but the fella from Long Island, he had made fun of how I keep getting into her camera. And
I think I was getting into your camera.
Either or, you know. And he's like, and he kind of said the fact, oh yeah, you guys are trying to be like you're in separate rooms, but I know you guys are right next to each other. It's like, who even notices that? That's crazy. Like, who even cares about that? But that's amazing. That's so funny.
He liked it, and I was like, I don't like that.
Yeah, shout out to that guy.
I'm always complaining about that. I'm like, you need to move that camera.
We fixed it. So for you, sir, we fixed it. It's not going to happen anymore unless I go all the way over here. But you know, I changed the camera angles basically. So there she is. See, but we are next to each other. We're not in different offices.
I didn't even have to get up for that.
The Here Lies Metal facility is not it's not the Joe Rogan podcast area. It's just, you know,
much like Stormbringer, we are in a small hot room.
It's a small hot room that we can't keep the air conditioner on, otherwise you'll hear it through the condenser mics.
We do not have central air.
Yes, we do not. We live in a modest house in New Jersey, as you do in New Jersey, because they cost $1 million. So yeah, what a fantastic festival, and we'll see you next year when the guy makes 3 swords. We'll definitely be there.
Yeah, this was obviously I don't think day 1 sold out, but they sold out of 2-day passes, and night 2 definitely sold out.
Sure.
So like with such success, they must, unless Evgeny just decides not to do it, do another fest.
I mean, no, this one was bigger than last, so I'm sure he profited better. So why would there be a 100% encouragement to do part 3? 100%.
Yeah, and I love it. It's so dedicated to like underground heavy metal too. Just like it kind of has to be being at that small venue, but like I hope it doesn't get bigger. Like I hope it's always
I hope it's
underground.
There. Yeah, I hope it doesn't go like Psycho, like it starts at Hard Rock, then actually Psycho started as like a desert fest, and it went to Hard Rock, then it went to Mandalay. Let's just keep it here. Keep it here. Don't get too big. Let's just keep it for the locals. Don't make don't just keep it here. Perfect. Let's keep it here. I know maybe greed overtakes you. You want to make Bourne bigger, but no, let's keep it where it is. Think about the fans. So
all right, Worcester, we'll be back.
Worcester, I love it. I love the town. The pizza's not so good, but but it's fun to go there. It's fun to drive, and it's fun to be there. It's fun to see all of you, all the same people, pretty much all the same people from last year. I
recognize people.
Everyone.
Not even people I didn't even like meet formally last year.
All these guys here again. I remember.
Like I recognize them. I mean, I remember everything.
Probably 80% of the people there were from last year. Absolutely. So we'll see you all here. And thanks for finding us, and thanks for watching the show, everybody. And hopefully you like our synopsis or our reviews on all of these great bands. And comment down below. Just give us a shout out. So, all right.
Good night.